The movie begins by showing us the graduation festivities of the class of the year. Everyone was dancing happily, except for this guy who didn't know the choreography and didn't have a partner either, until a girl who was also alone told him to join Gil, and they started dancing very closely and they fell in love. The truth is that he was only imagining the scene. The others made fun of the poor guy, although he could see that girl in front of him. Well, it turned out she was a ghost that messed up the party and, incidentally, his life. Suddenly, this teacher began to be bothered by a living car call. The gentleman got so scared that he ended up throwing himself from the window of the building. Or maybe the evil skeleton killed him. The other schools weren't good enough for his resume, but the truth is that they saw his face shortly after entering. On his first day, he saw a ghost, and she was scared. These students misdirected him on purpose, sending him to a remote place where not a soul was present. Some had died from a rampage that occurred in the place in the past. Hina didn't want him to leave and demanded explanations from Maine on that. She quickly deduced that she could see ghost students, but she couldn't do anything to make him stay. Modest walked out of school while he went to see her at her home to help her with that problem. At one point, the woman told him that those students were from 20 years ago. Meanwhile, Constantine told him that at a party they punished the Meanders. A fire broke out, and that was the end of it. After him, they took the living up from the school. The director asked him to help her get them out of there by talking to them and told him that he has never been crazy. He then returned to the burned library to talk to them, tell them that he is going to help them. The pregnant woman is Marabi, the drunk is Pink Floyd, and the rocker is Dan I. And the one with glasses Angela, the other one, we already know him. So he went to talk to the hanged man for advice on the subject, that he was a suicidal psychiatrist, and told him to help them finish the course. They couldn't finish when, in life, only then can they transcend to the other plane and stop bothering those who do want to study on the site. They were not aware of the latest news and achievements of their Iberian country. They didn't want to miss out on any more of the world and decided to pass the course while he found out who Jorge was, with whom he spoke a while ago, and they began to talk about their lives through the keyboard immediately. The one on the parent council did not like Modest, and he wanted to fire him. He was an ugly guy who came from nowhere to take over everything without caring about the rest. The teacher tried to help him, but he continued to be stubborn and ended up ruining Elsa's laptop. Although it was not a problem for the lovers to look for Waco, there they told each other about everything they would do if they had the opportunity. Suddenly, the religious teacher found the cha and played the keyboard. Later on, the classes continued without the presence of the grumpy rocker, who unexpectedly came to attend her and proved to be quite smart. Dee warned Modesto that Archundia would arrive for Founders Day, and she was afraid that the ghosts would ruin everything and take away her father's anger. He told Jorge that he wanted to leave with him. He didn't have anyone else, and they agreed to do something together on a special occasion. Then he went to wish him luck as he was going to take the Modest final exam. He found out that the blonde was talking to a live girl and told him not to do something crazy. The thing didn't happen, and the Siberians solved the test as they could as long as they approved and finished everything. After a while, the teacher gave the results. Dan's disappointment passed without problems, and he left questions that were known in class unanswered. Maybe he doesn't want to leave yet. Even so, the old man approved it for being cool, and the boys went to the light. Finally, Lai was a tremendous son who passed. They got mad at him for having lied to them, and they went to get even by making a mess all over the school that he has. At one point, he found out about the serious news that was happening. It turns out that the literature teacher did not die, but he ran away from the scare, and a Tigwai blamed Modest for the mess that was happening inside there. The teacher complained to the old man about the bad advice he gave him before understanding that they couldn't leave because they had to admit their faults. He wanted to notify him of his discovery, but the bald man exposed him in front of the others, and he told those present the truth of his supernatural power. But it did not help. They all agreed to send him away from the place before retiring. The teacher told the ghosts that they must be fine friends among themselves for sure. You keep a secret, and you haven't told it. Dennis knew that the thing was Modest with him. He tried to convince him to speak, and the rocker spat out the soup, saying that he accidentally started the fire. He just wanted them to let them go to the party because they left them locked up. He didn't tell them anything for fear of getting out of there and ending up in a less decided place. Cut it forever. After that tub, she asked Modesto for forgiveness. The others forced her to fire him. It didn't help. The teacher was very angry with his dog, more luck. Then he tried to reconcile the psychiatrists who had a grudge against each other, but it was just still wrong. Understood? His old woman loved him very much. He was like that at school. Tina was still trying to communicate with the fired. She had no results and asked her ghosts to meet with her, to talk, to help her bring back the resentful person who hung up the calls. The guys had an idea, and they went where the crazy pin rituals of Floyd got inside her before he eliminated them with a sacrifice. They killed Modesto to tell him between lies that he must sign something and that Tina dies for him. The teacher couldn't believe that offer now. Yes, he was determined to return to school to see what would happen. Then Angela confessed to Mari. She saw that her boyfriend put a letter in her mailbox where she said that she was leaving and did not want to get married or crazy. Besides, she didn't believe the child was hers. The inflated was destroyed in that area. One day she arrived at the big day, expecting only modest good news. He did too. He almost screwed up, but the ghost stopped him at tea, and he didn't believe in them. So they showed him that way, and he put him in his place. And Marave found out that he was her boyfriend. So Modesto told her what she wanted to hear. But he was going to ruin Tina anyway by talking to the counselor, who, for the moment, asked him to shut up. There. The teacher told Angel to animate the choir. They were all falling asleep. She got into a student and began to sing Osuna. Uniquely, to the astonishment of those present. She did it luxuriously, and the party caught on. The rest of the chorus played along until the fat man stopped the show. He wanted to be the new principal and make a series of changes to the school. But Dan got into his body, making him say things like in addition to proposals outside the place that left everyone amazed. When he returned to control, he did not remember anything that happened, and Tina spoke in a better way. So those present were more supportive than ever. Later, Daniel apologized to his compadres for what he suddenly caused. Jorge went to see Elsa before she sends herself to the afterlife, but he had already jumped into the pool with drinks on top of her and tried to save her. Luckily, she could see the blonde, and while modestly resurrecting her, the bro asked her to reconsider and that one day they could see each other. Finally, the girl came back to life, and the months were ready to get out of school. There was only one thing left to make Pink Floyd dance to the canyon that she wanted so much in that they played slow music at the party, and Modest had another continuous opportunity to overcome his traumas, which he did without fear. This time, however, Marabai told him that Pink Floyd was wrong. She felt like dying, but she just had a hangover from Co. Fornadian. Their time has come. The boys held hands and went to visit San Pedro. One by one, he left G relieved of so much life without death, and Modesty had a good ending with the blonde who loved him a lot. Question for you. If you discovered that your school had ghost students eager to complete their coursework, would you assist them or join the haunted party and dance? Share your ghostly plans in the comments below. To watch more intriguing stories, please subscribe to our channel for movie summaries with a touch of spice.